First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
Welcome this evening to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. This is our all-weather streaming show that airs right after WBRC Fox 6 News on your favorite streaming platform. So we will get right to it. The big story has been just how cold is it going to get next week? Yep, our next big thing is an Arctic outbreak. We're not even going to focus on what's happening this weekend because it's just going to be so boring in comparison. We're used to getting cold in the winter. That happens. We're also used to it being warmer than average sometimes in the winters, but this is going to be much colder than average air that we are tracking. An outbreak of Arctic air is going to be sinking down as far south as the Gulf Coast. Here we are next Friday morning, the Friday before Christmas, December 23rd. Look at how strong and pronounced that dip in the jet stream is. That tells us that some very cold air all the way from the top of the northern hemisphere is going to plunge southward. And so what does that mean? Well below average temperatures as we go into Christmas weekend. We're talking bitterly cold on the Christmas Eve, and then on Christmas Day. Of course, the big question is when that happens, when you see a pattern setting up that favors below average temperatures, would there be enough moisture, as you can sometimes get in the winter months, to support a snow event or a wintry mix of some sort? Well, that's still not set in stone yet, but we are now a week out from when that could potentially happen, so we're continuing to get better data. In the meantime, what we're looking at is that 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. So that's 8 to 14 days from now, which is December 24th, Christmas Eve through December 30th, so right up before New Year's Eve. On Christmas Day, on average, the average high is 55 degrees and average low of 37, which seems about right for winter here in central Alabama. But because this Arctic outbreak of air going into Christmas weekend is going to be so pronounced, we may struggle to even get above freezing, not just in the morning, but the afternoon. So it's when you don't get above freezing in the afternoon, that's bad news. But as we look ahead to Christmas weekend, here's what we're forecasting right now. And I want to stress this can change and it likely will change. So what I'm presenting you right now is my forecast that Tania and I were going over today. Mickey was here as well. So we have all been looking at this data, going over it over and over again. And this is kind of a moderate version of what we're seeing. Right now, we're kind of taking the modest route with this forecast, not going to extreme just yet, because it's always easy to dial back on a forecast or dial it up a little bit versus dialing back, because we don't want to get your hopes up or not get them up, depending on whether you like cold weather or not. So for now, on Christmas Eve, we have low temperatures in the teens and highs struggling to get any warmer than 30 degrees. And I think it could actually be colder the day before Christmas Eve as well, next Friday. And then on Christmas Day, still unseasonably cold. Both days should have some chilly cloud cover around. So as we mentioned, highs typically in the 50s in December. But last year on Christmas Day, we were a lot warmer, upper 60s, but what we're forecasting now, highs in the 20s and 30s going into Christmas weekend. So let's focus on this weekend because, yeah, you still gotta, if you're like me and Tania, do some last minute shopping. We're not panicking. We're not panicking at all. Temperature is going to struggle to get even close to 50 degrees tomorrow afternoon and Sunday. Sunday will feature more sunshine. We've got some clouds moving in tonight. The rain chance is so low, I just took it off the forecast because we're talking just light drizzle at best overnight into early Saturday. A lot of folks staying dry. We will see widespread 20s on Sunday and Monday. Monday evening, we should see some showers coming through that'll be out of here by Tuesday. But then it's as we get into the middle of next week, Wednesday looking quiet. By next Thursday and Friday, that's when we've got to watch for a system coming our way. First of all, we're going to be seeing a very strong cold front that's going to be bringing that Arctic blast by Friday. Check it out. Highs in the upper 20s, lows right at 20 degrees, likely some spots getting into the teens. But you notice a rain chance on Thursday. So would there still be some moisture around? Would that rain still be falling by the time that cold air nudges in? Could we see a transition to snow? It's not out of the question. I think the more likely spot would likely be areas north across Alabama, but a lot of uncertainty at this point, but we're certainly keeping an eye on it. You know, we are all watching it, all 7 of us on the First Alert weather team. So we will be keeping you posted. Right now, it's not set in stone. I say this every time. Anytime we have the potential for wintry precipitation, you know, I'm going to be the first to tell you when I feel confident about it. Why? Because I grew up in the South. I didn't see snow for real until I was 19. So I'm always excited to see snow. But right now, I'm not sold on it just yet. I am sold on the fact That's going to be real cold next week, so buckle up. But coming up, we check in with meteorologist Tania Michelle for her news segment, Meteorologists Around the World. First Alert Weather Extra. We'll be right back.
If your shower or bath looks like this, it's time for an upgrade. Hey everybody, Joe here with BJ Wurzen, owner of West Shore Home, to talk about how West Shore is evolving the customer experience to provide seamless remodeling projects to homeowners all across America. BJ.
Joe, we know a lot of people are looking to knock out some remodeling projects before the holidays get here, but the busyness of those holidays can really slow down those plans. So I want to let everybody know they can get those projects done right now and it won't be a big disruption to their life.
Well, BJ, how are you doing that?
So everything we do is designed to be fast, easy, and convenient for our customers. And it all starts with that initial call. Pick up the phone and call the number on the screen right now. It'll be answered by a live representative. They'll be able to answer all your questions about the shower bath project, but more importantly, find a time to have one of our design consultants come out to the home for that free in-home consultation. We even do evening and Saturday appointments to make it most convenient for the homeowner.
In that design consultation, that's where the homeowner chooses the styles and options to create a bath space that they're really going to love.
Right, we'll bring out one of these and let them design the bath of their dreams. They want to move forward. We have multiple financing options designed to fit any family's budget. And the best part is we have instant credit decision.
So no waiting, they'll know on the spot whether they're approved. Okay, how about financing offers? Do you have something special for us today?
We have something really special right now that we're doing just for the holiday season. It's going to be 18 months with no payments and no interest. That means you don't have to make a payment on this project until after next holiday season. And for a limited time, we're going to do free installation on all shower and bath projects.
Again, no worries about making a single payment until 18 months after the project is installed. That's incredible. BJ, thanks so much, folks. Shower and bath remodeling has never been easier. Call West Shore Home now and take advantage of this great offer. West Shore Home is extending this offer for 1 week only. Call in now to get 18 months of no payments and no interest financing. Plus, you heard BJ, for a limited time, West Shore Home is doing free installation on all shower and bath projects. This is an offer you do not want to miss. Call West Shore Home now.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. We've got an exciting new segment that we are launching here on Weather Extra, and it is going to be championed by our very own Tania Michelle. Tania, tell us about this new segment you're doing. Super excited.
Thank you. And yes, see, it's all started when I know that we're meteorologists, but I wanted to know what meteorologists do across the world. So I was like, why not talk to them and also feature it here in a special interview? So this is the first episode of Mets Around the World. We'll see how this one does and then possibly make it a thing that we'll do every Friday and then maybe even more. But for this first episode, I'll let myself introduce it, but just stay tuned because this one's really good. This one's dear to my heart, a close friend of mine. His name is Brandon Richards. So I'm super excited for you to check this out. This is Weather Extra, and for this segment, we are talking to meteorologists around possibly the world, but right now we're across the country. I have my good friend, Brandon Richards, who's a meteorologist in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He forecasts for the state of New Mexico. So we're going to get to know him a little bit more and meet a meteorologist across the country today. So thank you so much for joining us, Brandon. I am super excited. We go way, way back. Let's talk about it. And let's also talk about what got you into meteorology. Let's start there.
Oh man, I mean, I've been into meteorology for my whole life, it seems like. I just remember as a kid, I was so fascinated in it. Grew up watching people on TV doing it, and it just seems over the years, it just got more and more. And, you know, tornadoes specifically really sparked my interest. So that's really what did it there.
And now, I don't want to give it away too soon, but you're actually from Alabama. We're going to get to that in just a second because, of course, we're here in Alabama. But I want to first talk about a little bit of your education. I know me and you both went to Mississippi State. Let's talk about where we kind of kindled and where you really started to learn the science part and the foundation to meteorology and how Mississippi State helped you do that.
Right. So, your freshman year and your sophomore year, you really don't have that many of meteorology classes. It's more of the your basics kind of types where you're doing your math and your science. And that right there can be a deal breaker for a lot of people because it's very hard to get through that math and science for meteorology majors. But once you start getting into your meteorology classes, like when we met, that's when all the interesting things come together. And it's just like, that's what you fell in love with. Those classes, the meteorology behind it. And I think that's how we kind of gotten together. And then, of course, study buddies. Had to get through math because math was very hard. I remember those nights we were up extremely late, just using a whole whiteboard to do one problem.
Yeah, I don't miss Cal 3 differential equations. I can tell you the hardest classes or things that I've ever had to do in my entire life, honestly. But hey, we made it. So hard work definitely pays off. That's awesome, Brandon. Okay, so as you guys know, real quick recap, I met Brandon at Mississippi State. We did the meteorological program there back in, what year was that? 2017, 18, no, 2019. 2018, 2019 is when I started. Yeah. 2018. Brandon worked here in Alabama. Tell us a little bit about your first job coming into your weather position right out of school.
Actually, when I graduated college, I graduated with a degree in operational meteorology, not quite broadcasting, because I didn't know if I wanted to do broadcasting or not. So I stayed in Starkville for a few months after I graduated and moved to Tuscaloosa, where I started a state job. Again, not even meteorology based, kind of just a science based field. And then there's a TV station there on the University of Alabama campus, Channel 23, that was allowing me to come in. My chief, Richard Scott, actually allowed me to come in, kind of shadow him and, kind of say, hey, I kind of want to try broadcasting. Will you let me kind of get up on the green screen and try a little bit? And he was like, sure, why not? And the first time I stepped up on the green screen, he kind of looked at me and he goes, do you want a job here? So he was very encouraging. He said I did a really good job. So I was like, you know what? Let's stick with it. And that's where I'm at now.
I love that. So how long were you in Tuscaloosa? And do you think that being able to jump into it right then, did you know as soon as you were on that green screen, like, oh my gosh, I like this. This is what I want to continue doing?
Well, I love helping people, Tania. And that was my big deal here, is if I could help someone even just plan out their day, then I wanted to do that. And, when I first got on the green screen, very nerve-wracking because you're not used to it. I've never been in front of a camera. I don't know how to act. I've just been seeing people on TV. But I was in Tuscaloosa from August through March. And when I started working tornado events starting in January, that's when I learned how to be on TV. That was my presence. That was how I gathered up information. And again, saving lives, that's what I wanted to do. And I felt I could contribute a little bit towards that when I did tornado coverage.
And you are definitely saving lives. I mean, I saw some of your severe weather coverage from back when you were in Tuscaloosa, and I think you did a phenomenal job. And as we know here in Alabama, well, we get severe weather, so it's very important. And if we are at the forefront for letting people know what's going on in their area, then we've got to do that. We've got a due diligence to hit the ground running with sharing what's going on right there in their current area. So I definitely agree. Being a meteorologist, the biggest portion of it is saving lives and giving people their first alert, like we do here at WBRC Fox 6 News. So my next question for you, though, is we want to know a little bit more about New Mexico and your job there. So you're a meteorologist out there, you're still on TV, and what's the weather like there now? I mean, you're across the country, New Mexico, people here probably know nothing about it. And if they do, probably very little about their weather. So tell us about it.
Well, this is the desert Southwest, but when I had first moved here in late April, early May, when I first started the job, the last time I had saw rain was when I was actually leaving Alabama, and we didn't see rain again until the middle of June. That was a new concept to me. Wildfire season was a new concept to me. That's it. It's amazing the things I saw just within a month of being here. And then monsoon season, we had a lot of rain, a lot of flooding from that. And right now we're kind of going through cold phases where we're getting these systems coming through and creating just that little bit of snow for the North Mountains that we have here in New Mexico. But it's very difficult forecasting here in New Mexico. The reason why you have so many different climates, southeastern New Mexico, where Roswell is completely different climate from what Santa Fe is in the central and northern part of the state. You can have wild temperature swings. Some places could see snow while other places are seeing rain, while other places are just seeing wind. So it is very humbling to work here because the forecasting is so difficult, but you learn so much from it.
I love that. And you sound like you have been getting settled there in New Mexico. You're learning the geography, if not already a pro at it. I mean, you're just so good at what you do. And we also appreciate you for carrying on, the job of being a meteorologist. So once again, thank you so much for joining us today. I want to give you the opportunity to share anything else that I didn't ask about. So if you just want to give someone a snippet about yourself or a fun fact, anything.
Well, I mean, I love actually storm chasing. I actually am a certified storm chaser. And back in February of earlier this year, I was actually able to see a rain-wrapped tornado. It was very hard, but it was back in February. And I was the first one on the scene of damage in Moundsville that happened earlier this year. Storm chasing, again, I feel like it's a very important thing to contribute toward our TV broadcasters and meteorologists and the National Weather Service, because we need people like that to help us give ground truth. So I want to give a big shout out to storm chasers because y'all do a fantastic job.
Absolutely. And I think my next question for you is we want to know what's next. I mean, we know that you're in New Mexico right now, but where do you see yourself in 10 years from now? Let's finish it off on that note. Let us know, what are your goals? What are your dreams, your desires?
So in 10 years, I more than likely want to head back east. Again, severe weather is my forte. I studied it in college. I did a lot of it while I was living in Alabama. Of course, growing up there, I knew about it. And New Mexico doesn't quite have that kind of severe weather that the tornadoes and such. So I would like to get back east and do maybe a little bit more research when I get a little bit older about tornado genesis and stuff like that. But I want to be able to be in a market where I can help people with tornado coverage for sure. So where that lands me, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Absolutely. And we're going to be watching too, especially me. So I'm so excited for what's in store for your career and for your life. Brandon, you're doing a phenomenal job. Keep it up out there in New Mexico. Thanks for joining us here on a new segment that I'm calling Meteorologists Across the World. And we will see you guys hopefully next time with our next guest. So stay tuned. Thanks again, Brandon, for joining us. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, that just warmed my heart. I hope it warmed yours too. It's a good opportunity to connect with other people across the country and hopefully eventually across the world. But let's get one more final look at your 7-day forecast. Well, we could see a very, very slight chance for some sprinkles overnight and early hours of your Saturday. Some increase in cloud coverage throughout the night as well too. Temperatures tonight will get as low as 35 degrees and up to 48 degrees for your high on Saturday. Now for Sunday, we're giving you a first alert for that cold weather because it's just going to be a cold night leading into your Sunday. Temperatures back in the upper 20s, hoping to, if you've been hoping for it to feel more like December, well, it's definitely going to feel like that for those overnight temperatures. Now, we do have another chance for disturbance to roll through for Monday and Tuesday, bringing us a slight chance for some precipitation, and then a chance for more precipitation to end your work week next week, Thursday and Friday, a 30% chance for your Thursday and Friday. But that's a little bit uncertain. We'll keep you up to date with that. You can also scan the QR code on the screen to get all weather updates in your local area on our First Alert Weather app. Now, thanks for joining us tonight. This is Weather Extra. Have a wonderful Friday evening, and we hope to see you guys next week. And be sure to tune in tonight for First